Hello and welcome to vanofaction.com, and this is a van of action. Especially this year, we traveled over 13,700 miles this year, and boy oh boy did we have fun. It was just amazing. But when we designed this van, we'd never had one before, and you may be in that same position. You may be looking for some feedback about what works and what doesn't. So in our travels of almost 10 weeks in the van, we found there were several things that we built into our van that we just love. And there's a couple of things we'd like to change. I'm going to share those with you today. Along the way, give us a like, a share, and a subscribe. Let's get started. The number one favorite part of this van for us is the kitchen counter. This counter is over 5 feet long. It serves so many different purposes for us. It's obviously where we prepare our food. There's a stove, but it's not here all the time. We have an electric induction cooktop that we store in a drawer. When we do want to cook, we pull it out and it's on the counter and we can plug it in and use it. We have a sink, but the sink's not here all the time. The sink's covered up. And the reason for that is this. When you want to prepare food, that's fine, you can do that. But this space has so many different uses. I pulled it out in front of the door opening, so when you're loading and unloading things, someone can stack stuff on the counter, you can stage it on the countertop, you can load stuff in the cupboards. It just makes life so much more practical. At night, before we go to bed, we get our clothes out of our cubbies, because as much fun as it is to have cubbies up over top of the bed, it's not fun getting dressed up there, believe me. So we have our space down here. We get up in the morning. We know where our clothes are. This space is invaluable. Now, we went to a couple of RV shows this spring, and we saw Winnebagos and Travelways. We saw about 14 different vans. Starting price was $149,000, and we saw one that was up to $299,000 for a van this size. We saw ProMasters and Sprinters and Transits. $249,000, and not one of them had a counter that was more than 3 feet long, and every one of them had a stovetop built in permanently in the top of it and a sink built permanently in the top of it. Some had covers on the sink, but if you were cooking your meal, there would not be any counter space left over for a plate or a cutting board or anything. It was just impossible. So impractical. If you're designing your van, try and design this space to be big enough. It's totally by fluke for us, because we have the large Dometic cooler, the dual zone 97 liter cooler, and we have the sink. That dictated how long our counter had to be. But in hindsight, it's turned out to be such a godsend. Give that some thought. Having spent almost 10 weeks on the road, the second design feature we were absolutely thrilled to have was this space, the Galley. You see, these vans are 6 feet wide. You need 2 feet for your kitchen counter. No matter what, you got to hide your cooler, hide your fridge. That leaves 4 feet left over. And a common thought is just to take 2 and 2 and 2. But if you're a person who wants to have an indoor bathroom with a shower, 2 feet isn't enough. Most of the people watching this video couldn't fit in a 2-foot shower and wash their feet. It's just the reality of it. So if you want an indoor shower, you're going to bring this wall 2'6" out, which reduces this to 1.5 feet. We were in at the RV show. We were in a Winnebago converted ProMaster van that price tag was $220,000, and this space was so friggin' skinny that an average person, and I'm thinner than most people, you have to turn sideways and then try and figure out how to get into the bed. This was so small. You had a big shower, but this space was so small. We chose to do without the indoor shower, thinking that if we were in a campground where privacy was an issue, there would be facilities, and there always are, nice facilities to shower in. Then if we were boondocking where privacy wasn't an issue, we could use the outdoor shower. In making that decision, I was able to say this space is only for storage. I can push it this way 6 inches. So we're 18 inches deep here, which gave us 2.5 feet here, which means that even though you're standing at the bed, you're part of the space. It makes it a lot more comfortable. When you're designing your van, give this some thought, because this opens up a lot of space and makes it a lot more comfortable for entertaining people, for just sharing the space. It made it a lot nicer. Something that we really, really enjoyed is this 2000 watt pure sine inverter. If you recall, I wasn't sure I was even going to have one, but by gosh, having it was just so much fun. It was so neat to be able to drive down the road and see a really cool spot and say, let's stop there and have a cup of coffee. You know, let's have our lunch right here in this wheat field in Alberta. You know, let's stop by the lake here in northern Ontario and make ourselves some lunch. Having access to power in those situations was a lot neater than I thought it was going to be, honestly. And a 2000 watt inverter is strong enough to operate an electric space heater. It'll operate our induction cooktop. It'll even heat our water heater, our 6-gallon water heater we can use off the 2000 watt inverter. I wouldn't be any smaller than that personally. I would recommend you think about designing in at least 2000 watts. I don't know if you need much more than that unless you want to roast a turkey or something, but this was a great investment. The one change that we would make in a minute if we could would be to have the 2 front seats swivel. The driver's side, we can do that because it came out as a single seat, but our ProMaster was built with the bench seat in the front, and you had to actually get out of the van in order to access the back of the van. The Dodge Corporation will not sell a single passenger seat at all, and particularly if you have a van that was built with a bench seat because of the airbags and the computer system. So I took my bench seat and I cut it down to become a single seat so that we could access the back of the van. But because of the way the seat itself is framed, it's impossible to put a swivel on it and it won't recline. This is the best compromise we could come up with, but it is a compromise. It'd be so much nicer if those 2 seats swiveled around, and that would add 3 feet to the cabin at night. It would make it a lot more luxurious. It'd just be wonderful. I don't know what the solution is. I looked at wreckers all over the province of British Columbia and Alberta. I have found a couple of passenger seats that were in vans that were in accidents, but the airbags have been deployed. They've been exposed to the elements. The upholstery was all stained, and even those they want $600 to $700 for them. So I don't know what the best thing is for this, but this is a change we would make in a second. The second thing that we want to change this winter, and it is winter today, is how we get in and out of the van. Like most people, I think, when I first started planning the van, I expected to have running boards on the side as to be a step in and out. But the truth of the matter is, they really intimidate me. I've never found anything online or in a store that looked like it was made so that it could be installed by a woodworker who knew nothing about working with metal and still be strong enough that over time it didn't droop. Because I've seen some of the drooping ones and they look like crap. And so I've just kept putting it off, thinking I'd find some other way to make it work. Now the reality of it is, if you put I put a 1 inch by 1 inch square aluminum channel on top of the floor to create a space to put insulation in, and on top of that I put 1/2 inch plywood. From the ground to the inside step of the van is about 21.5 inches. That's far too high to be stepped up comfortably. It just doesn't work. So initially I picked up a step with folding legs from a hardware store and put it down and thought that would work. It was nice and sturdy, but those steps are only about 7 or 8 inches high. So the first step was really comfortable, but reaching up into the van was an odd-sized step, and it was a little bit higher than you'd expect it to be, so it didn't seem safe. And stepping back out was a long way down for the first step, especially in the morning, so it wasn't ideal. So our plan number 2 was to build a box that was exactly halfway between the ground and the inside of the van. So it was a perfect step going up and in. That was great. I did that. It worked out just fine. But then I had this plywood box I had to try and deal with when we weren't using it as a step. Now that turned out to be a real pain in the neck because my basement always seems to be filled and it was always in the way in the cabin and it just didn't work out at all. So the next thing we did, plan C, was to pick up this folding step stool. I think we got a Canadian Tire. And put it up against the side. Now that seemed ideal because it was 2 regular steps going up with a little 3-inch lip going in, which was just fine. And coming back out was, you'd step out onto the top one, then down. It was very comfortable, very safe, seemed perfect. While the door was open. As soon as you wanted to close the door, you ended up knocking the step over. It didn't work at all. It jams in there. So you ended up having to pull the step away from the van far enough to let the door function, which created the next problem, and that was this gap in between. Going up, you go up 2 steps, then you step across the gap into the van. Going in, it's not an issue, but coming out, particularly at night, I could see it'd be very easy to step into the gap, particularly maybe if we had company that was just visiting. It'd be very easy to step down into this space expecting to find a step there. That was the biggest issue with this. The second issue with this, though, is what to do with it, because it folds up pretty flat, but it makes noise. So if I just have it standing up between the seats, I got to cover it with a blanket or a towel or something. And if I just set it inside the door, it looks great now, but if you stop at a gas station and want a glass of ice or an apple or something, you're constantly climbing over it. It just is inconvenient. If you're planning your van, don't do what I did. Plan on running boards. And later this winter, you and I are going to go through the process of researching them online, buying them, and putting them on. So if you're not in a panic, we can do this together and you can learn from me. But this is definitely a change we want to make. And it's so important to have good lighting, because you're in the van after dark. Your eyes might be tired if you've been driving all day. You might want to read a book, you want to visit, and you got the windows covered. It's black in here, which is really nice for sleeping, but it's really black in here. But you got to be careful. We got really lucky in our design. I bought a package of 6 puck lights, 12-volt puck lights. That's just the way they were sold. And I was going to put them all on the ceiling. When you go into an RV show or a showroom, and you'll often find that the vans will have 4, 6, sometimes 12 puck lights in the ceiling alone. And when you turn the light switch on, you don't get much of an effect. Well, that's because the room's already lit up and they're bright spaces. But at night, you don't need that much. I ended up only putting 2 in the ceiling of the main cabin. This is what it looks like. That's 2 lights on. We find this almost to be too bright. I also put 2 lights over top of the kitchen counter. And this functions really well for us, gives us lots of light at night. And honestly, at night, these are the lights we leave on if we're just going to be visiting with each other, because this gives us ample light, tons of light. Also, and come with me for this part, on each side of the bed, we've got little touch fixtures. If you touch it the first time, you get a night light. And this is great for just, if someone has to get up in the middle of the night or whatever, you can just touch it, need a nice little light. If you touch the second time, it turns into a reading light. And there's one on each side, so each person gets one. And this particular one has a USB charger built into it as well. And they swivel, so you can adjust where they go. You can even shine them across if you're looking for your night clothes. It's dark in here. 2 little lights, ample. And there you have it, our end of the year 2022 report, the 3 things we really love, the 2 things we would change. I gotta tell you, we had such a wonderful time this summer driving across the country. We saw some beautiful sights. We stopped in some beautiful spots and had lunches and breaks. It was just amazing. You're gonna love being in your van. And believe me, no matter how hard you plan, you're not gonna plan it perfect the first time. Just expect that. So take a little information from me, do some research, but at the end of the day, pull that trigger and get it started, because you can do it and you'll be so glad when you get there and it's done. Give us a like, a share, and a subscribe. Check out the other videos, and y'all come.